Two former Republican congressional staffers recently joined forces to write a novel about life as a Capitol Hill staffer.
What's that like? Well, the authors Jayne Jones and Alicia Long began their political careers working for former Senator Norm Coleman. The book is called Capitol Hell. And joining us now is one of the authors, Jayne Jones. Thanks for being here, Jayne.
Oh, great. Good morning. Thanks for having us. Absolutely.
And of course, this is fictional. I mean, it's just...
It's a fictional tale. It's a fictional tale about a Minnesota senator.
Yes.
He ventures, the two girls in the book venture off to work on Capitol Hill for a U.S. senator. He's over the top. He's high maintenance, kooky family, crazy staff, wigged out nanny. He decides to run for president. So they go back to Minnesota where they kick off the presidential campaign at the state fair on a Zamboni.
I love you got to throw the Zamboni in there.
Very...
So the book, we know, is based on real life. So what stories in the book can actually be directly related to your time on Capitol Hill?
Well, the book is based on some real life, some embellishment, some stories that we've made up.
Sure.
It's a bunch of different stories that from different congressional offices combined into this fictional tale of a Minnesota senator. Is there some truth about, there's some folks that figured out there's two main characters, Janet and Allison, J and A. There's a couple stories in the book of doing the senator's laundry. I know Alicia came out and told folks that, she was called to do Senator Coleman's laundry back in the day. Did that happen? Alicia says yes. Senator Coleman might say no.
Speaking of Senator Coleman, I guess we have to ask, what is his take on this? I would think, since, sort of a high-maintenance senator, that maybe, in the book, that he may not be happy about this book, but it sounds like he still have a good relationship.
Absolutely. Senator Coleman is a great man, super public servant. He's been extremely positive. I think in the press and some national stories, he's called us creative entrepreneurs. Guilty?
Yes,
Are we right? We're guilty.
Right.
We're having fun with the fictional tale. It's all a bunch of different congressional stories, again, dumped into this fictional Senate office from Minnesota. Why did we pick Minnesota, Alex? Because we both love Minnesota. We're from Minnesota. You write what you know about, right?
And he claims, though, that he has not read the book. Is that what you were telling me?
We think that.
We think that.
And what about Capitol Hell?
Good title, great title.
Great title. It grabs our
It
attention.
does. It brings you in.
Well, we kind of assumed that maybe there were some hellish moments. You said you used to sleep with 2 Blackberries because you had to be on call 24/7.
Yeah, and it's a place for folks that are under age 30. You work around the clock, high pressure demands. No better place to serve your state or your country. I always tell my students, now I teach at political science second quarter, somebody says, go and do it until age 30, then go back and get different priorities in your life. Now I worry about my 14-year-old's volleyball schedule versus the senator's schedule. But you know what, it's a great opportunity, great experience. But there's a lot of shenanigans going on in those Senate offices? Oh, you bet. Is that juicy and saucy? Yes, yes, yes.
I love it. And as you mentioned, we were just there. We took our girls there for spring break.
Oh, very terrific.
And it's great. It is terrific. But you do see these staffers. And the one I was talking to who gave us the Capitol tour.
They're all super young.
Super young. And he had just started. The idealism dripping out of this kid was just unbelievable. I mean, I enjoyed it, but it's like, I'm sure that after a few months of that, you start to kind of become a little jaded.
Yeah, and I think the egos don't necessarily fit inside the Capitol Dome. I think you have a lot of different personalities combined into those. Everybody has told us we have really fun characters in the book, and what we've really learned is that a lot of folks are telling us, you know what, those are stock Hill characters. You find a snippy, snarky, rich press secretary in everyone's office. And Blair in the book seems to be kind of that character.
I love that name for the character.
Is there one place in the book that you think really resonates with people who have read it, as far as some crazy thing that happened or reaction from maybe one of the lawmakers?
Yeah, give us a little
demands, or some of those lists of demands.
Right, in the book they go to the Minnesota State Fair. There's a whole chapter on the Minnesota State Fair. The State Fair booth isn't quite up to par for the State Fair officials. They're painting at 3 o'clock in the morning. There's women who are protesting the war, which is their right to do, but they're breastfeeding in front of the campaign booth the entire day. So it makes it a little awkward for the volunteers throughout the booth. They're eating venison tater tot hot dish. I think a lot of Minnesotans can relate to that. It's juicy, it's saucy. It's one thing for my mom and dad to read it, who are from Detroit Lakes, Minnesota, and they laughed at it. But it's awesome for us to actually have Minnesotans who are picking it up. They're loving it. They're telling us they can't put it down. And it's a fun read about Minnesota. It's a lot of Minnesota pride. We elect some interesting characters from Minnesota.
No, we don't.
Come on. Oh, yes, we do.
Probably a couple of some news media in there as well. I'm going to take a guess.
Well, if you won some awards, we wish you all the best.
Thank you. It's been an absolute blast.
Thanks, Jayne. Thanks for coming on.